Hey everyone and welcome in. Today we got the GOAT TacticalRab on 1v1 me bro. But first, I could not be more excited because we have the perfect sponsor for this video. We have the app 1v1 me sponsoring 1v1 me bro in my channel. I really appreciate it. 1v1 me is an iOS app where, pretty straightforward. You can play Call of Duty against other people for money competitively. It's a blast and it's really super easy to get started. You can play for free as well. There's a lot of different ways that you can play. You can play competitive CoD like CDL rule sets. You can play kill races on Warzone. You can play S&D challenge. You can play kill races inside pubs. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can play. There's 4v4 options, 3v3, 2v2, 1v1s, all over the place. So it's actually a really cool alternative to some other sites as well. And it has some really cool features as well. The app requires you to stream from Twitch while you play. It verifies all of your information so you'll be safe when you're playing, and you can make sure that you have a fair game when you're playing as well, which is great. And they also do a good job of building community, and you can find teammates on the app. You can find people to play with or play against on the app itself. You can message people there, and they make it really easy. It's the best app I've seen for doing that. And they have a lot of other cool features coming soon that I'm definitely gonna be excited about. So overall, you gotta be 18 or older to play for money, but anyone can play for free. So you just gotta download the app. You can check it out, give it a look for yourself, and create a free account. You can click the link down in the description. Take you there. That'll help me out as well. And so I always appreciate that. Overall, just enjoying competitive CoD. I think it's a really cool app. It's got good direction, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in the future. And I'm looking forward to playing against you on 1v1 me as well. So make sure to check that out. And guys, I am so hyped for this video as well. TacticalRab, 1v1 me bro. Let's roll it. Hey everyone, and welcome to 1v1 me bro. And this is long overdue. Today, we are rocking and rolling with none other than the TacticalRab, talking some Call of Duty, of course, Rostermania, and learning about the news lord himself. We have a lot to get into today, and I could not be more excited. Rab, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing very well. I'm having a good time. Champs is great. Rostermania is even better. We love it in the COD scene. And yeah, about time we did a collab like this, I think.
It is long overdue. Yeah, it is. I'm excited, man. I really am. So for all of you guys out there who are new to 1v1 me bro into the channel, it's nothing too wild. It's basically the game show, talk show experience. And we're going to be going through guessing some Call of Duty moments, talking about TacticalRab, and then talking some Call of Duty, of course, and getting into all of that. So nothing too wild. The goal here is to get on the leaderboard and take the top spot. Right now, Arcides is rocking with the top spot on the leaderboard. So you're looking to dethrone the COD champion and the 1v1 me bro king. So without further ado, I think we can get into like the icebreakers off the rip here and just talk about you a little bit. So off the rip, this is 1v1 me bro. So the question is, do you have a favorite 1v1 in history? It could be esports, it could be Call of Duty, it could be sports, whatever it is. Is there like some sort of 1v1 moment that stands out to you in history?
Interesting. The first one that came to mind for me, and I think I have to go with this one just because it's the first time that I watched competitive Call of Duty, was the Black Ops 2 World Championship, Killer versus
Miracles,
Proofy, right?
Or Proofy,
Proofy and Miracles. Like, I was about to say Miracles as well, but like I caught myself and it was Proofy. Of course it was. So yeah, Killer versus Proofy, the 1v1. I mean, a crazy round of search anyway, because it was a 2v4 that Freako were down, and Miracles gets a crazy two-piece with the AN94 on Meltdown Search, game 11, round 10 of the original World Championship back in 2013. And watching that was like, I think that was the first time I'd ever watched like any esport live.
Really? Oh, that's actually wild.
I remember like just seeing, like I remember watching that final map or something and seeing that 1v1, just thought it was so cool. The way like Killer slithered away and came back and killed the guy. That was just awesome. So yeah. And then after then, like I didn't really watch that much COD for the next few years, but I watched a bit of Ghost, not much Advanced Warfare, and then came back really in Black Ops 3. Okay. But that's the moment that stands out to me, at least 1v1 wise.
That makes sense. That's actually awesome. I started watching, like, I think my first live event was maybe like a few weeks after Champs, because I think Champs, like the wake of Champs, kind of like, that was where I like found Nate Shot on YouTube, and then I was like,
because the culture was so much earlier in the year, right? It wasn't like Champs.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, it was March or something.
Yeah,
so it was like
March.
It was something weird like that. But that's a great one. That's a great answer for sure. A very common answer there is the Celium Scump 1v1 at Anaheim.
I was thinking about that as well,
which
to be fair.
Was the first time that we met, actually. It was at Anaheim that year, too.
Indeed.
So that would have been a good one.
1v1. That was cool.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so the next question is, it's a classic dinner party question. So if you could have three people currently alive to invite to a dinner party and hang out with, get to know, talk to, who would you choose?
It's a good question. This is a really interesting one.
Yeah.
You could go a load of different ways with this.
Yeah.
Okay, the first person is on the wall behind me. You can see him here. This is Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
So he's the fastest man in history. When I was a kid, he was like a massive idol for me. Just the way he approached his races, like he completely revolutionized. I still enjoy watching athletics to this day.
Yeah.
But when he was running, it was like another level of experience watching the Olympics. Like people watch the Olympics just to see Bolt run the 100 meters.
I mean, it was literally you watched hours of the Olympics to watch 9.5 seconds of Usain Bolt.
Absolute legend. I mean, what he did for the sport as well, in terms of like so many of his rivals and competitors caught doping and everything. Like never happened with Bolt, of course. And the way that he came onto the scene initially, and just because everyone always used to walk out so deadpan, like they wouldn't have any fun, like it'd just be super focused. And Bolt would just come out there like dancing, having a good time, and then he'd just go break the world record. And I just thought that was so cool. So definitely, I think him.
Gotta respect the showmanship.
You gotta respect that, man. Like what an absolute legend. Another guy, there was another one in a kind of similar category to Bob, but I'll go for another one. Yeah. I forget the name of his book now, but I want to say David Goggins. I don't know if you've heard of David Goggins.
Yep.
But absolute metal. Like this guy is made of some different stuff.
Yeah.
And his book, whatever it's called.
I've seen his Instagram post before.
But yeah, like that book genuinely changed the way I think about things. Like the struggle, the experience that he had to where he is today, and trying to just like he lives his life trying to say when he dies and goes to heaven, like that he is reached his maximal potential. He's left nothing on the table. And just being around him for like an hour, I'm sure would like change your perception of literally of what you're doing. So he'd be my second, and then third one, who I think is a kind of an interesting pick. No one else will say this, is Rowan Atkinson. And he is, people know him as Mr. Bean, right?
Okay.
People know Mr. Bean, and he was the actor that played Mr. Bean. But
love it.
He's
legendary right there.
Yeah, legendary right there. But he's also there's so much more to him than just that character, right? Like he graduated from Oxford. I think I don't know if he did classics or something. But a really smart guy, really intelligent comedian that has done so many great shows outside of just Mr. Bean that people know him for. I'm sure he'd be incredible to speak to, and also like a really knowledgeable guy. Has done a lot of stuff about like freedom of speech and stuff in the UK some of the issues like that. So awesome character. Those three would be fun.
That's a great list. That's like all over the board. I absolutely love that one. That's a high quality list right there. Yeah, for sure. The third one is one I really like. It's the movie that you've seen the most in your life. Not your favorite, but the movie you've seen the most.
I'm pretty sure I know which one this should be.
Okay.
Because when I was a kid, I would watch like James Bond films.
Yeah.
Avidly. Me and my dad, every Friday.
Oh, wow.
We would just watch a Bond film pretty much. Yeah, as a kid, yeah. And the one that I always loved, I actually watched it again with my housemate just like 2 weeks ago, just because I hadn't seen it in ages. But I definitely watched this at least, when I was a kid, probably at least 15, 20 times. There was an entire like 3-minute sequence of dialogue that I just had memorized. And it's Die Another Day, which is the last Pierce Brosnan film. Came out like 2002 or something. And because when I was a kid, that was kind of like the most recent Casino Royale, and like it has all the crazy gadgets in, there's invisible cars, like it's absolute chaos. And watching it back is just like, wow, this film is mental, but it's also still really entertaining. So that has got to be the most watched film. And there's probably another couple of Bond films on that list of like my most watched films ever, but
dude, that makes sense. That's the thing. It's always those movies where like if you haven't watched them in like, let's say 5, it's almost like maybe like a decade that you watched as a kid, you're like, dude, what is this movie? This is crazy. But no, I love that one. That's great. So the last one is if you had to survive on a desert island with 3 Call of Duty pros, who would you choose and why?
Okay, you're gonna need a varying skill set here, right?
For sure. Like, you need the gatherers.
You need
the hunters.
Gatherer. Okay, who's my gatherer? I need someone tall, strong. I'm gonna say gunless. I feel like that's a good pick.
Yeah.
He's like he's a big guy. He's pretty tall. He's like 6'3" or something. He could definitely carry the logs, you know, if we need to.
And he's tough, you know, he'll figure it out, you know. I love that answer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, he's gonna make it through. And then you need like a hunter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, someone who's proficient with the weaponry. It's gotta be Crim6.
He's been answered every single time.
He's gotta be. I'll take Crim every day of the week.
For sure.
I feel like he'll make it happen, you know. Crim and
so far, 2 very strong-minded folks, you know.
Yeah, but I need someone who's got like the smarts, the vision. I don't know to get us up. I don't exactly know who that is. I mean, I don't want to cause too much friction, you know. Actually, I was thinking, what do we think? Maybe Slasher. Maybe he can. I don't know. Maybe he can build some sort of like. I don't know, something. Maybe he can get some sort of glint going that can catch the attention of a ship.
Right.
Crim and Slasher, they might
get the SOS
could
message
be a bit
out.
of conflict going on there, but I don't know. I feel it could work.
I mean, like it. I mean, the comms. There could be some clashing, you know, with the Slasher, Crim. There's a lot of big minds in that room, but I mean, I think it could work. I think it could work.
I mean, look. At the end of the day, they want to win in COD. They want to survive in real life. So they'll find a way.
You'll provide the unified vision for what we got to do here, you know, and then they'll go out and make it happen. I think that's great. I love it.
Agreed.
Absolutely world-class answer right there. With that said, I think we can head into our first Name That segment and talk through a little bit. So this is the first COD history moment that we'll be talking about here. And so you got to name the game, the event, and both teams playing it, and then describe the play as best you can. There's 200 points on the line here. You get 50 points for each one of those. And we'll go from there.
So play like a game, teams that are playing the moment that's going on.
Yeah, the event if you can, and then the play being made as best you can. So
interesting.
We'll go from there. So this is an interesting one. We'll see if you can get it. I don't know if you will, but we'll see.
Sounds tough.
Looks like now Comber is going to see someone to the left-hand side. Get Scump. That's a good start now with 30 seconds left and 1 versus 2. This is looking a little bit better.
This is the nature pistol.
Really is going to help him.
Yes, dude, that was so fast.
There you go. Someone gets him. Yeah. I know this because Benson casting is kind of iconic. But the problem is, I know the moment. The problem is, so then I guess it's Karma in Ghosts.
Yeah, do you want to listen to the rest of it? Because I could play the rest if you want to get some names down.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Go on.
All right. Pause because he can only really afford to go towards that B site. In terms of time, 20 seconds, it is ticking away, and OpTic going to know this, but that's the kill on Karma. Picks up place, and now it's a 1 versus 1. Karma versus Nadeshot. Nadeshot still yet to die. 6-0. Karma, is he going to go for the punt? Is he going to bait it out? Looks like he's going to go for it now. Is Nadeshot going to challenge? Otherwise, the punt is going to go down.
Oh no, right behind him.
Oh my God! Karma just destroyed Nadeshot.
Karma just destroyed Nadeshot. That was the one, yeah. Okay, yeah, of course. I would have got it eventually.
Man. But Matt, he was 6-0. Come on,
he was 6-0. He was actually frying,
kill. He was frying.
Yeah, he just had to wait a little bit longer. You know, he got a bit impatient. But Nadeshot was so good at that map because it was Octane.
Dude,
Octane,
he was.
Octane Search and Destroy and Ghost.
It was so ratty, you know. He could find those corners.
I'm trying to think, like when that would have been, because that's the thing. Like I'm not incredibly familiar with the Ghost season just because I didn't really watch the events at the time.
Like when would have OpTic played Complexity there? Like when would that have come out?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I mean, it must be, like it's got to be kind of late in the season because I don't know when Clayster, because there was the Clayster team with Scump, Proofy, and Nature, I guess, that won the X Games. I don't know if that was this event, but I'm thinking because Clayster, because the Complexity Dynasty was either Clayster or it was Karma, so I'm just saying it must be Cole playing OpTic, and then but like the event that they're playing at, I don't know, like because there's the famous time that they lost that like Octane domination, but I don't know that was at Champs. This must be earlier than Champs, but I don't know. I'm gonna say like maybe Anaheim 2014 or something.
So you were right in the ballpark. It was the COD Champs qualifiers.
Okay.
So Complexity and OpTic. I was gonna say,
it didn't feel like the proper Champs, but it felt like an event around there.
Yeah,
okay.
That would be why it was remembered. So that makes sense. So I mean, you basically were right there. 150 points on the board already for Rab. I mean, that's a good start right there, to say the least. Nah, that's great. So the next one, this is the only like non-COD related one. We always got to throw a little curveball in there. So this is a video game trailer that.
Oh God, I'm gonna be awful at this one. I don't play like any other games in COD.
That's fair. That's fair. So there's a part 1 and there's a part 2. So part 1, if you get it, you get 300 points. Part 2, 150. So all right, we'll see what happens. And the first part's really short. That's why you get more points. So we'll see what happens.
Okay,
let's roll it.
People see me and think they're safer. But it's not really me they're seeing.
There it is. That's all you're going to get for part 1.
It sounds like a Spider-Man game. It sounds like...
You are on fire! It sounds like literally right off the rip, you nailed it. That is Spider-Man right there.
I don't know. I just... The sound of the guy's voice, man. I don't even know... I was just picturing something.
Dude, you're on fire. Now that's 300 points on the board. You're already at 450. I mean, I think the guys at the top of this board, they gotta be sweating it out at this point, because I mean, you're on
100%.
fire. So
come on.
So next part, we're gonna be talking about you a little bit here and talking about how you got into some Call of Duty, some esports, and I mean, basically the first question is, what got you into COD? And then when did you start YouTube? What was the whole situation there? COD to YouTube transition there.
It's really fun, man. It's fun talking about it.
It is.
So the first COD I played was Black Ops. Actually, the first COD I played, I think, was COD 4 at like some party. You know, like, I don't know.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
There was like a party we had where this guy I knew from school, he brought a load of the friends along to this like game. I forget what they used to call it, but basically like a load of Xboxes in this like place.
Like a game center?
Yeah, like a game center type thing. And like you just go in with like all your friends and just sit there and play like whatever. So I think I played COD 4. I remember it was Kill House that I played against them. I didn't know what the map was at the time. Didn't even know what the game was at the time.
No, definitely not.
I remember looking back what it was. But the first COD I played, or the first COD I got, was Black Ops 1 when I was 11, because my mate at school told me, Black Ops 1, this is the game, you got to get it. So I explained to my parents that, I might be 11 and the game's an 18, but you got to let me get it.
Trust me.
Like you can turn off all the graphics mode or whatever, because they're like, I remember Dad went through it and he made sure that like the
you made the whole pitch.
Violence were off. I made the pitch.
I love it.
We got Black Ops 1 and I was god awful. I didn't even know multiplayer existed for at least a year. Like all I played was the campaign. And like I guess it was 11 or whatever.
That's how kid. That's what it is. I mean, that's a kid thing, you know.
Yeah. And then I started playing the multiplayer at some point or another, and it was god awful. I remember specifically, I would I'd play free for all, and if I went even, I was happy. Like if I went 5 in 5, like I was even someone was winning with 30 kills, I didn't care. I just want to go even. The plays on, which is tragic. I would sit in rooms. I'd put C4 on the doors. And then when people came in, they'd kill me. I'd go down into second chance, I used to call it. And then you could double tap square while in second chance. It'd blow the C4s up. It would kill them and it'd kill me. And I'd take that. So anyway, eventually, we got a bit better. Black Ops 2. So I started making videos on my main channel in Black Ops 2 back in like 2014.
Was that on the TacticalRab channel?
Yeah, it's still on. They were still on there.
Really?
Go back, view by oldest.
That was back
probably
in the day,
about 20
before the name change.
Yeah. Well, actually, the channel was called that then. Was it? Actually, that's a good point. What was the channel called back then? That's a great question. Yeah, it probably was. It was probably called the previous game attack. Maybe way back machine.
Yeah, right. Because I remember seeing I thought at some point I saw some title post like on Twitter or something where I was like, oh, that's funny. That's the original names, you know.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's on me. I'm actually, that's just so crazy to me that it was on the actual original channel, because like I definitely posted back in the day like on random other channels, like just posting gameplays, whatever, you know. But like that's awesome that it's on the actual like main back in the day.
Yeah, the one that I'm disappointed about is that there was this. So I used to be part of, I guess, like the public match S&D community. I used to watch all of iMarksman's vids.
Yeah.
He was obviously killing it even more now than he was then. But like every day he would do like S&D gameplays. And I just absolutely love that stuff in Black Ops 2. I used to watch all of them, figure out how I can get better. And then I would do just gameplay breakdowns. So I'd take a good gameplay of Black Ops 2, which, I mean, there's just so many absolute fantastic gameplays that I've got in that game.
Yeah.
just go through of, you know, dropping 50 kills in a TDM or something and just talking through it, like what weapons I'm using, how I'm moving around the map. And this I don't know, I used to have good fun doing it. They barely got any views, but it was good fun. And so there was this collaboration channel called Distinct S&D. And there was like a group of a few of us. And I think like one of the guys is called Seeker, and he's gone on to...
Oh,
he
Seeker,
still streams.
Carnage.
Yeah, you probably... Yeah, I think he's in Carnage, yeah. Seeker in Carnage, yeah, exactly, yeah. And there's another guy who I think is now like I think he's like it's like Rainbow Six. He's like a really big Rainbow Six YouTuber.
Really?
So, anyway, there's a few of us in that.
Well, look at that. What a group that came out of that.
Yeah, what a group, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then we put some of my best videos, I think, I made for that channel specifically. And then for some reason, someone just deleted all the videos on the channel, so now it no longer exists. That's the only disappointing thing.
Things you hate to see.
But it's okay. And anyway, I took a few years out, I guess, not like out, but while I was doing through college, in the UK it'd be called college, like 16 to 18, before you get to university. So kind of in that period, I didn't really do any COD stuff. Still kind of played it. Played a lot of Black Ops 3 actually, competitively. Like we had a team going towards the end of the year, and like played in a few tournaments and stuff. So that is by far the game I've had the most fun on playing competitively. Black Ops 3 is just beautiful. But yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, honestly, just so many things about that game. I just love it. There was some frustrating things, but if you're pubs, everything, search and destroy.
Everything. It was a great game.
The way the scene was at the time. The only problem is we didn't have enough tournaments that season. But
yeah, I agree.
Apart from that, it was the best you're going to get, I think. So anyway, then it was 2018-ish, and it was like second semester of my first year of uni. And obviously I was following competitive COD pretty closely at that point. I'd really got back into it in 2016. Late 2015, 2016, when there was the Pro League, the online Pro League.
Yeah.
And I'd come home every day from college and just chuck it on the iPad and just watch, like, you know, Machina Momo do the European ones. And then late night, it'd be the North American ones run. And it was basically on every single, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think, or something like that. It was on every single week.
Yeah.
And that was just a lot of fun to just watch, like, and it was really easy to get into. So I started following it really closely. By the time it came around to... And I'd also like watch all Scump's videos back in the day as well. So I knew who OpTic were. And then I was like, okay, like, let's go OpTic, let's go. And I was really sad when they lost champs that year to Cloud9. I was really depressing. But that's just one of those things. Anyway.
That's how it goes. I mean,
pretty much the entirety of Infinite Warfare. Like going through Infinite Warfare, that's kind of when like not like my allegiance to OpTic, but most people come in as an OpTic fan and then like they find other players they like or whatever.
Yep, that's kind of how it goes.
And then during that season, it was like, okay, yeah, there's the Splice guys, the European team. Like I basically started supporting them, especially when they actually went on to win at stage 1. That was awesome.
Let's go.
That was one of the coolest things ever. So anyway, that season was really good. And then 2018, World War II comes along. Second semester of uni, I'm like, I should do something. And really it started at the start of 2018 on Reddit. We used to do, it was myself, Spoons, and a couple other guys did a post called Weekly Recap on Reddit. And we did one at the start of 2018, and we did one every week for probably about 5-6 months. And they were really good posts. Like I basically wrote them. Spoons did some of the graphics for like the I guess the Pro League standings and stuff in the tables. And the post up everything that's happened the last week, like all the rumors, roster stuff, any interesting storylines. Then it would have a load of links to like the funniest clips, the highlight moments of the week. Really good post.
This was really good, yeah.
But I think it's a really good post anyway. Anyway, that went up for like 6 months or so. And then during the summer of that year, I started writing some articles for COD Gamepedia and also this publication called The Game House. I was writing articles for free because I kind of like doing it. And then I was like seeing what Thorin was doing for Counter-Strike. He would just sit in front of a camera for 10 minutes and just, you know, talk about a roster change. And I was like, well, screw it, I might as well do that for cards. The first one I did was like a 40-minute epic on the Black Ops 4 beta that had come out. And I was just talking about its implications for competitive. And someone commented on it recently to say that, like, I didn't actually watch it back because I couldn't be bothered. But someone commented recently to say, like, basically a lot of what I said was very on the money in terms of how it played for competitive. So yeah, I'll take that.
Shout out.
But anyway,
big shouts.
So I did that one. I did another couple of videos not too long after that. and I think I posted them on Reddit, and they got some traction.
Yeah.
And then the first video that did quite well was when 100 Thieves signed Kenny and Pharaoh for that season, and that was a big one. Like when they got signed on before Black Ops 4, and that video got like 10k views or something just through searches.
Right.
And then the first video that really did numbers was Rostermania Rumors, when I started that on the 2nd of September 2018. I did the first video, Rostermania Rumors episode 1, OpTic Dashy ? Because that was what was being talked about, and just broke down all the rumors for the day that was currently going on. And that's kind of where things started. So after that, I was like, you know, sometimes you get a video and you're like, damn, that's like, I don't know, didn't realize it at the time, but now I would look at that and think, wow, that's like product market fit right there. You know, like you've hit a market that works consistently. Anyway, that's the story. Kind of a long-winded way to say it.
No, yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, that was totally the same thing for me. It was like the first time I was like, oh, this could like be a thing. It was two things. It was, I did like a learn from the pros video, and like just randomly I was like, I should watch how OpTic plays in IW, and I'm like, it had like 5,000 views, and I'm like, oh my word, you know, awesome, I'm like, oh crap. And then the other one was when Hook joined, like came back in World War II, and I made a video about Hook, and I was like, 10,000 views, oh my word, like what is happening? And that's kind of was the origins for me. So it's kind of that same, like just randomly you're like, I should do this, and then it happened, and then it worked, and I'm like, oh my word, this is actually something we should do. So you got to try
a load of things before you're going to stumble on something that's going to work.
That like, really is the key, right? You know, I mean, you got
a lot of people look at channels that are super successful and are like, oh, they just like made it overnight. But I guarantee all the big channels, they've been toiling away for years to try and find something that's going to work.
And like experimenting and like just working with different types of titles or thumbnails or video ideas or whatever it is. And 100%. So, I mean, when, like, at what point were you like, all right, I need to double down on this and be like, all right, we're doing this thing, like 2 videos a day, we're going, you know, like when did that kick into play?
So the way it was going for me is that 2018, I did from the start of 2019, because in the late 2018, I was doing 1 video maybe every 3 days. And the start of 2019, I was like, okay, can I do one every day, at least on average? So I did one pretty much every day through the start of that year. And at the start, like I go back and look at the titles, thumbnails, I'm like, who cares about that? Like this is, like, why are you talking about that?
Right? No, I mean, dude, it's
this is how it goes.
I'm right with you on my channel.
It's all a learning experience. And so anyway, I just smashing one out every day. And that's the thing with like forming a habit in that sense, right? Like if you do it every day for 30 days, you're not really going to stop. And that was like alongside university and stuff, which is it was okay to do. And I would usually do it like at home in the evening after I'd got home, whatever. But that summer I was going to work for Intel, which is the chip maker, right? Yeah. And so I was going to work for them on placement year. So we kind of do these like sandwich courses where you study for 2 years, you do a year in industry, and then you do, like finish your degree.
Okay.
So I was going to work there, and I was like, you know, okay, I'm working full time. Am I realistically going to be able to make videos? So I was thinking, okay, can I do it? And I ended up getting in a routine where I would go to work, get home at like 6, do a video. It'd be done by like 8. Then I'd, you know, publish it at 9 and have dinner at 8 or whatever. It was kind of tough, but we got through it. And
gotta respect that.
Then obviously COVID hit in start of March, and
things got crazy.
We no longer went to the office, and I went back home in Essex. And then by the time it got around to like April, May, and to be fair, the ad revenue absolutely plummeted around that time. So this was tough. It was like a good job, really. I had
it was so bad.
It was so bad in April that year. It was absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it was like, okay, I can still make some content, and I was still doing it every day. And when it got around to like May time, I realized, okay, you know, what I started doing was like, okay, what if there's 2 interesting topics to be made today? Maybe I'll do 1 10-minute video, and then I'll do like another quick 5-minute video just after I finish work. And I did that for a few days in probably, it would have been, I guess, June of 2020, something like that. And then slowly that evolved into like, okay, well, if I'm doing a 10-minute and a 5-minute, maybe I can do 2 videos that 5 minutes, because that was like the new benchmark for mid-roll ads. And I just kind of went down that route, and eventually I got to the point where, okay, I'm making 1 video at lunch, I'm making 1 video after work, and it's kind of working. And because I'm working from home, like I'm not in the office, I can just, if I've got nothing to do, I'll just get my laptop out and make a thumbnail. Like it was kind of crazy.
That's impressive.
And then when university started again last year in like at start of October time, the schedule was then get up at like 8, make the videos in the morning, and then by midday have lunch, and then work on uni work in the afternoon. And that's basically what I did for the last several months until in May I graduated. So I have the afternoons off now.
There you go. Let's go. The full time.
Yeah, it's not
things
bad.
you love to see. Nah, that really is the way to go. It really is. It's been awesome. I mean, the explosion of the TacticalRab channel it's been one for the ages. It's been exciting. So huge congrats there for sure. I mean, that's been awesome. So I mean, I think with that said, we can kind of head into our name that segment 3, or this, I guess, segment 2 here, and head into our second part of the name that segment and talk through this. So you're sitting in a pretty good spot. All right, you only need,
the pressure's on now.
the pressure's on. You need like 200 points to dethrone Arcides, the COD champion, from the top leaderboards. And so off the rip here, we got a gun from COD history. This one, I'm confident in you here, so we're gonna see what happens.
But from COD history, okay.
A gun from COD history. We'll rock and roll with this one. And
these are harder than you think they'll be.
All you gotta do is get the game and the gun. We'll see.
Okay,
this one's pretty iconic. No pressure. All right, here we go.
We got Deagle COD 4, that sounds like.
That's the Deagle COD 4 right there, baby.
That's how quick it fires, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, that's COD 4 or COD 4 Remastered, just because, like, I played a fair bit of MWR, so.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. I mean, my channel back in IW, I just did not like IW, and so like I just did literally solely MWR content that year, and was just having a good time with it,
Yeah,
with GBs
that's
and
probably
stuff.
a good time to do so, because that's what, especially at the start of that game, like I wasn't playing any Infinite Warfare. Like, I'd probably been playing Infinite Warfare for at least 3 or 4 months.
Some of like the nade spot videos and MWR and stuff did really well back then too, and things like that. But there you go.
Game,
the MWR Deagle / COD 4, things you love to see. And so you are now 50 points off of the lead here to dethrone Arcides. So this is a COD Pro now. So you got to identify the COD Pro from his voice.
Okay.
And this is a part 1, part 2 here. So part 1 is like really short. Part 2 gets a little bit tougher. So we'll see what happens here. And without further ado, let's rock and roll. Let's check it out.
Okay.
It was just frying the whole time. And
it's Donnie Temp.
Yeah, we
that is Donnie Temp, baby.
I was frying the whole time.
Yes, sir.
It's funny because there's some things that people say that like you can narrow it down without even having to hear the voice,
I was frying the whole time.
Well, that's funny. I recognize the music as the music in the background. That's got to be some like, I don't know, Infinite Warfare Pro League type stuff right there.
Yep, I think IW to World War II music. I think is what that was. Maybe. Right, that was right at the start of the year because that was the NV roster with Temp at the beginning of that year. So yeah. So that was, I mean, that skyrockets you. So already a little round of applause here. That skyrockets you to the #1 spot, 900 points on the board. And we still got one COD moment left to go here. So we can have our first 1,000 point performance, which would be very exciting.
It's going to be tough to top, I think, for sure.
Yeah, it would. So this is a COD moment from COD history. And again, game,
so kind of
event.
Like before?
Yep, like before, another one.
Yeah.
So game, event, and then teams, and just the play to the best of your ability here. So off we go. This is a fun one. I really hope I'll be very impressed if you get this one, and also I will be excited. So let's check it out.
We'll see.
People left alive for Envious. Virus has every opportunity to come up clutch. 15 seconds left in the game. Can Virus do it? Can he be the hero of Nextra, the hero of Quantum Gaming? He managed to take one guy out. He takes out
Is this that COD 4 clip on Overgrown?
Yes! I love you!
Clearly it's not.
I love you, Virus! I love you!
Oh, what is this one?
There you go.
This is some
serious stuff right here.
The clip that came into my head, but I don't think it's right, is like, there's like I don't know, like COD 4 Nationals in 2008 on Overgrown. I remember like Castro has his like weird glasses on.
Oh yeah.
That was the clip I was thinking of, but yeah, Virus, I don't even, I don't know that.
That's the thing.
I don't know that.
There's some tough ones there. So the end of the clip here is what you probably. I'll give you a little bit of extra, a little hint here. The end of the clip here is what you want to pay attention to.
Okay, the end of the clip.
If you can kind of identify some of like the maybe people talking.
Let's go! Yes! I love you! I love you! I love you!
That sounds like Doug Martin. Is this Black Ops 1, Doug's first championship?
Yes! Yes, it is!
Oh my god. What event was it though? That actually is so funny.
If you know,
I know what this looks like because he's on the left side of the stage. He's got like the glasses on or something. Yeah. He looks so small. But, oh man.
If you know the event, I will be really impressed. That would be some deep dive into the brain of TacticalRab.
I mean, okay, so I've got the moment, but like I still am not really sure what. I think he was on Leverage at the time. Like I don't know if it was called Quantic Leverage or just Leverage or whatever. I feel like that was the squad, but maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea who they were playing in the finals. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Was that team called Next Threat back then? I don't even know.
Next Threat. There you go. It was Next Threat. He brought it back in World War II when he had his little roster that he was doing.
Yeah, okay. So Next Threat was the team. Definitely giving me some help here, but I'll take it.
Do you know who they were playing? Did you catch who they were playing in that one?
Well, I mean, I heard Virus, but I don't really know. I'm not really sure what team that would be. Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
If you can give it a guess, just fire away with some team from back then.
I don't even know what would be around back then, like Team Fear or something.
It was actually, I think they beat Fear in this tournament, but it was not Fear. It was Envy.
Oh, Envy, okay.
And
maybe I should have got that.
Do you have any event guess at all?
I guess give me a second. There's one that I'm kind of thinking, but
yeah,
I'm not sure. The only words I can see in my head is Doug Sensimart, and I can't. They don't want to give me the event name. My subconscious doesn't want to give it to me.
Yeah,
I feel like. I don't know.
It's all good if you don't get it. I mean, this is a deep dive, so I'll just fire away. It's the MLG National Championship in Providence. In Providence in 2011. So that was a deep dive.
I know of it, but
I mean, you got the game. You got Doug Sensor Martin's first event win. I mean, that was a pretty good performance there. So you got 150 points there. So that gets you over the 1,000 point mark. And so you are at 1,050 points.
Got some health
on the leaderboard. Things you love to see. And that was Doug Sensor Martin's first event win. So things you love to see. All right. This is where it gets spicy here. This is where we're going to have some fun. Rostermania, baby. Let's go. So this is kind of be our little like topic for like last 15 minutes here or so, and talking about some Rostermania. So off the rip, I mean, where are you at with Rostermania? Do you have any? Is there anything you're specifically looking for in Rostermania before we get into some like maybe specific topics or some thoughts? Where are you at with Rostermania right now? Broad question.
I just want to see some chaos, man. You know how it goes. Like this is the season where it's like after the 2 seasons where a lot of the 1+1 contracts are up, that you're probably going to see a fair bit of chaos happening, because all it takes is one big move, and like all it takes is like OpTic to make a move. And the ripples of that
domino
are astronomical.
Effect is insane.
This player goes there, and therefore that player goes there, and then like because everyone on that team is going to get a spot, and therefore this guy who thought he was getting a spot is now not getting a spot. And now he's tweeting this out. It's like you've got no idea what's going on. So that's I think like I guess obviously I'm biased in terms of I'd like craziness to happen. So
we want some chaos. Don't get us wrong here.
If there's something I'm looking for, it'd be OpTic to make a move. I also think they should make a move. So there's that as well.
That was literally going to be my big question. Was the first topic was because I mean that really is the domino. I mean, do you think OpTic will make a move, and then B, do you think they should? So I guess the both sides there, the objective stance and then the subjective stance. It's like, what's the reason there? Why do you think they'll make a move? Let's start there.
I think that they will now. I think that they've had the entire season to try and win something, or at least make a finals. It hasn't happened, so it's like that you can say all you want about online and that type of stuff.
Man,
it's like just my perspective is the team just didn't work. So you want to give it another year, and you want to say, okay, we'll bring in an analyst and that's going to fix our problems. Fact of the matter is, it's probably not going to be the case. So
that's fair.
I think they should do something. The way I see it, right? FaZe are so good how do you beat them consistently?
How do you dethrone them? Unless they beat themselves. I mean, how are you going to dethrone them?
It's going to be so tough. That's like all the other rosters should be thinking about that. And maybe Toronto can probably get away with staying, even though I'm not 100% sure that will be the case. I don't know.
Right.
I think I'd like to see them do it, but I don't know what the situation is with Kleenex, because rumor has it he's not re-signed, and therefore
with contracts, yeah.
Kleenex should be a very hot prospect for a lot of teams, because like I think he's pretty underrated. I
mean, he's a lock he's like a top 10 player for sure. I mean, he's been a beast. So
yeah, I think so. I think he's got to be there somewhere. So yeah, I think so let's say OpTic should make a change. I think they have to, realistically, if they want to actually dethrone FaZe. And
what would that look like? I mean, I'm gonna put the pressure on you. What would you do?
What would it look like? What I do if the GM? I don't know. I don't know if a one-person change is enough, but it might be. But it depends on where you're going to go. This is the thing, right? You don't know how the next game's going to play in terms of the key of the team is the SMG duo every single time.
Right.
So it's like you've got Simp and AbeZy, you've got Bance and Kleenex, you've got Shotzzy and Vivid, you've got like Standy and and Attach, I guess. Like you've got some scary SMG duos out there that are hard to deal with, and also you've got many very good aggressive SMGs. And OpTic didn't really have that this year. Like if you look at the way their team was lined up, all the other top teams in the game had a really aggro SMG. Now, you can look at next year and you can say, okay, maybe the next gameplay is different and we don't need that again. But, like, I don't know, the way I see it, the game gets quicker over time. And also teams, over time, people are playing it at a higher pace anyway. And that's how it's going to continue to trend next year. And if anything, this year was one of the slowest Call of Duties that we've had in terms of pacing. Like people are not getting many kills.
Next year will probably be faster. I mean, basically, if we've seen the Modern Warfare
movement to the mean, you would imagine so.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that an aggro sub is going to be even more important. So, and Scump like hasn't been that player for his whole career. So can Envoy do that? I don't know if that's his perfect role. So I don't know. If it were me, I would think about, I would at least consider my options as to what the SMG
sell the house
for
Shotzzy. You'd sell everything OpTic owns to get Shotzzy on that
team.
And
I wouldn't mind a Shotzzy on there. That'd be nasty, right? And the thing is, like, if you get that as like a great core and you have someone, and even then, like Shotzzy isn't necessarily the aggro sub on that. You could argue Vivid is, but a player like that, even then, Hook I'm not sure is perfect for it. Like there's a very select few players. Like Kleenex is one, I think. AbeZy is certainly the number one.
Right.
But and Standy can do it as well. There's very few players that can successfully do that. So
for sure,
that's the thing. Like, do you try and make a big move for one of those, or do you just think we can work? But my concern would be you switch out Formal or something, and okay, maybe the team gets a, let's say you bring in Slasher in some mad move. Like
Slasher.
The team maybe has a bit more discipline. I think that's what they need, is a bit more discipline, and because so many mistakes are made. Like, I think they missed Crimsix.
And that's kind of where I was at with it last year too. Was like, throughout this years, I mean, they definitely need more coaches. I mean, it's just, we saw the top 4 teams all had multiple coaches and like a built out staff. I think it matters. And like, that'll help.
It does matter.
Over 8 months, it'll iron out at least a few of those small mistakes. And then maybe that's enough to turn the tides with a naturally talented team like OpTic, to turn the tides against like a New York or against a Rocker or something like that in the later halves of the year. And then maybe you can get back to top 3 and then you give yourself a chance at least against FaZe without shooting yourself in the foot over and over, pushing these dumb things, or not trading a kill, or not watching the rotation against Toronto when they rotate the bomb on Moscow more than any team in the CDL. Like,
exactly.
I don't know. Maybe you should watch those crosses. I don't know. Those are the things for me where I'm like, I lean like maybe you should just try to make it work with this squad. But like, I'm also coming from it from a brand perspective with Hex. Like, I mean, dropping Formal or Envoy is a tough call. I mean, that's a tough call to make for Hex. And so it's like, from a purely competitive perspective, I totally understand trying something different. But man, that's a tough call to make.
I agree with you. At the same time, if you're Hex, if you're OpTic, this just depends what Scump wants. That's just how it is. If Scump says to Hex, look, we should do this, like, it's gonna happen.
It's a tough call for Scump to make.
So, it's also a tough call for Scump to make, though, for sure. And I do wonder what he thinks about that. Like, I think that personally, I mean, it's so tough because both Dashy, all of them obviously mesh really well with the OpTic culture and the brand and what they've done there. And of course, all of them are, I mean, Scum isn't going anywhere, but the other 3 guys are easily talented enough that they will, of course, slot into another team without any problem. So, like, if they leave, they're not going to be part of OpTic anymore, which is obviously not something you want to happen, and none of them want to happen.
Man.
So, and it's like Dashy's just incredibly talented, but it's, you know, he doesn't necessarily have the results to back up the talent, which is, I don't know, it's people always talk about it, but
I mean, it makes it debatable, you know, like, I mean, sure, they won the first event of BO4, but like, you know, the first events of the year, especially when that event was in December, you can win off talent. You can, like, early on in the year. And so then you have to work on those fundamentals later on in the year to really iron down a champs run. Like, you have to have the fundamentals down, you know, to make that champs run. And that just seems like where OpTic continues just kind of like falter there. So I agree with you from a purely competitive perspective. I feel like you probably should make a change, but like, I don't know if it's gonna happen. If I had to predict, I would say they don't, which is what gets really interesting. So we'll see. But
either way, Rostermania is gonna be crazy.
Right. That's what gets me interested. So I do want to talk then some bold predictions. I want to put your neck out there and give me like 1 or 2 bold predictions. If right now today you had to make it happen, what would you say happens that's pretty bold?
Bold, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know how, like, some of them, I don't know how bold it is, because there's some predictions, there's some things I can see happening. So it's like, let's say Slasher goes to New York, for example. Is that bold, or is that just like kind of expected? Does that count as bold?
I would say that's bold. I'd say it's bold enough. Almost any move at this point is basically bold, I guess.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, anyway, I can see a world in which Placer goes to Dallas with Crim, and then he's the main AR there. Crim's the second AR. We've got Shotzzy as one of the SMGs. We try out Ali and see if we can keep hold of Vivid as a sub. And then I can see Slasher go into New York from Thieves with Octane coming in. But I have no idea who he's going to be with.
Right, that's what would put it tough. I saw that they were talking about that. I was like, I don't know about Slasher. My one spicy one is Shotzzy to New York.
Bloody hell.
With Clay, Shotzzy, Hydra. I mean, and then Simp. I mean, I don't know. That would be nice.
On paper, that team is absolutely ridiculous. But like, okay, it's bold for sure. I hear a lot of people talking about moving Shotzzy around, but I just can't see a world in which they let him go.
I mean, that's the thing. The only world, I mean, that would be the debate is, does Shotzzy want to play with Crim? And if he doesn't, then either Crim's leaving or Shotzi's leaving. And then that's where it gets really spiky. Because if Crim leaves, then where does Crim go? I mean, that would be very interesting.
That'd be insane. That would be insane. I think, I don't think that's going to happen. I think for sure we can, like, there's some other bold ones you could throw in. Like, I think one I was thinking about a while ago, and I don't know if this would happen contract-wise, but it would be, so Los Angeles Thieves, right? Kenny, Draza, I think they'll be there. Octane, and then you need an entry SMG. And I was thinking Standy. Now, I think that's bold enough, because
that's very bold.
If they had the cash to buy him out of Rocker, like, if I'm Rocker, I'm not letting go of him. But they obviously spent a lot of money on Hook. Maybe they can sell Hook somewhere else and get some money back.
I mean, maybe you can sell Hook to them, and then it's like a trade buy, but you still pay more for Shotzzy. I don't know. That would be that would be a spicy one. I would get Standy in
if I could. That would be I think that would be a nasty team.
That would be really interesting.
Standy's got to be one of the hottest agents. I mean, Clinic's also another one to consider, but I think
I would imagine Standy's on a 1+1 since he signed throughout the year. In my head, at least, that would make sense. But then the buyout would be that would be the question.
Extraordinary.
After how he played stage 5, especially and champs, I mean, my goodness, insane. One player, I think one big Dama that's almost a little bit underrated that needs to be decided here is, does Skyz and Awakening want to play together?
That's a great one, actually. Yeah.
Because if they don't, then suddenly that could create a big fallout of potential roster moves with either Skyz leaving or Awakening leaving.
I think the Wake is probably more likely to leave, I would say.
I agree.
If it were me, at least, that's what I would do. I'd keep Skyz and Neptune. I would try and get another SMG, and I would trade Awakening, or not necessarily trade, but like sell him somewhere else.
Right.
But it's tough, because like there's a few teams that could probably benefit from, I mean, certainly a few teams that could benefit from Awakening. He's really, he didn't really show it in the lower half of the year, but it's tough to know where he slots in. There's just so many orgs out there that could give him a go. I mean, you're talking about that New York team you mentioned earlier. Like, there's a world in which he can slot in as the flex there with, I don't know, a Slasher or a Clayster or whoever happens to be there. And then I mean, Hydra plus one very solid SMG. I don't really want to see a Seam miss out on a spot again. So there's, maybe that's what you do on New York, is that Hydra and, I don't know, who knows, right? But Hydra and a Seam could stay, and then like Slasher comes in and Awakening comes in. I mean, already we're kind of talking about a different setup, spot. But like it could be pretty nice.
The one move that I thought maybe could make a lot of sense was, instead of having Standy in that team for LAT, you throw ASIM on that squad, and then that could work potentially as a squad of 4 there. I mean, it's interesting to see what, and then like what's Priest's contract situation like right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they signed that whole roster heading into this year, so in my head they're all probably locked on the rocker, which like, my prediction would be that they don't make changes. But like, but it's they are in an interesting spot, because there's going to be some big names out there, and there's going to be a lot of teams that want to poach some of your players. So, there's moves to be made, and obviously you did win an event, but like your hardpoint was pretty suspect all year. So can you realistically just come into next season and beat FaZe again? I don't know. So that's what's so exciting, right? Like, just FaZe are that good that every other team has to be considering options. Like, even this season when Hook came on the market, and Hex was saying like, I had to at least consider bringing Hook in. I didn't obviously do it, but like he was at least considering making the phone call. Right.
Which is what some, situations like that does to all the teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I would imagine for Hex's sake, like, just because if you were ever in a world going to replace Formal, which it's hard to do from a brand perspective or from a competitive perspective. I mean, in my head, Octane's the only person that would replace Formal when it comes like talent, and then brand, and then just overall like good vibes for a team that could fit in with that team. Like, I just don't see another, like, people will see like a lot of OpTic fans want Formal to leave just because of his poor performances near the end of the year, but like,
always the scapegoat, right? Like, there's
always, I mean, it was Karma in the past, and now it's Formal or Envoy, but I don't know. I mean, if you were to make a change for OpTic, and then who would be that replacement for you? Who do you think would be the most likely?
Like Octane is not a bad shout. Like, obviously they can think about it. I think for Octane, it's interesting from his perspective, because obviously if you get the opportunity to go and play with OpTic, like, you don't turn it down. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't personally see it happening. I agree. I think that like Formal and Scump, I mean, they're not really, I don't know. I doubt they're going to split up again after what happened to both the situations last time it happened. It wasn't great for anyone.
It wasn't great for anybody.
So I think they will try other moves before they make that split, personally.
Right. I mean,
it might happen again, but
my totally narrative thing with OpTic, we're circling back to OpTic somehow, but my totally narrative thing with OpTic was in the most recent trivia. Formal and Dashy were a pair there, and they were vibing in that video.
That's the thing, narratively, you can read into it, and you're
right,
like,
want to read into it a little bit. And so, if I had to put odds on, I think Envoy would be the most likely leave. And if that happens, then suddenly there's that massive chain of things where it's like, Envoy could go anywhere. And then I think last thing for Rostermania, bold prediction for where Hook goes. I mean, I think that would be, he's a big X factor, but he's gonna be on a team for sure. So it's like, where does he end up going?
Agreed. Yeah, this is so interesting though, from like the business lens as well, because if your LAT is like, do you really want to sell the guy that you've just paid bank for to another team that you're going to get less for in return? Like,
that's a tragic move.
Obviously, like, it's sunk cost fallacy, but it's not something you want to do. But I don't know. My other bold prediction was that they'll get someone like Standy or Kleenex in. So I don't know if they will have Hook. And to me, the most logical place for him to go is to something like Florida, because they wanted him anyway. But you've got to think about like
New York with Clay,
or something.
maybe.
I was just thinking New York. Yeah,
I could see that.
That could be really spicy.
Yeah, I mean, then you do Hook, and then like a Hook, Sib, Hydra, Clay situation potentially. I mean, maybe. Then unfortunately, that's fortunate for ASIM, and then suddenly now ASIM's looking for a spot
ASIM's
again.
Gotta this is how it goes, right? Like, someone gets out of the team, and they're all of a sudden they're knocking on the door, and things start changing again.
And then all it takes is one friendship connection between one guy and another, and then suddenly now one dude gets the boot, and then we have the same situation with our new team. And then this is this chain of chains.
And this is like the last few days before they're signing the contracts. And it's just, this is CoD Rostermania in a nutshell right
It's crazy, man. And that's what I love talking about it. So, I mean, we could talk for the next hour and a half about Rostermania and just to break down every single team, which I'd be down. But, you know, at some point we got to start. I have to start ending this video at some point. All right, so rapid fire question here. These are gonna be some. I'm gonna make you give some hot takes here. All right, so this is gonna be scary. All right, so we're gonna do a rapid fire. I mean, maybe like a small explanation or no explanation at all about each one. We have like what, 2, maybe like 8 or 9 little rapid fire questions here. All right, so off the rip, is FaZe a dynasty?
No.
What does it take?
I can't. Yeah. Okay. So it takes dominance over multiple titles. If they come into next season and win a few events, if they win like 3 events next season, I think they're a dynasty.
Right, but then is complexity a dynasty?
I think they count because they won over multiple titles though. But they were a different team.
But they were a different team, which then so was FaZe. Yeah,
but I don't think it necessarily. I don't know. From my take, it's like this team of 4 from FaZe from the start of the year. That's kind of like when their tenure begins. Because before it was 5v5, so it was different.
Right.
With complexity, it was like you swapped out one player.
Well, yeah, the 5v5 is the biggest X factor for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Like it doesn't. I don't think it counts. Like the same core, the core was the same, but like you're 2 players now, you've got one different player. Like I don't think you can call that part of the same era.
Complexity was only together for 8 months with that core 4 after that Clay move. So I mean, that's the debate. So it's
but they did win like everything.
They won like everything. The only thing they lost was basically X Games to OpTic, and they got 2nd there. So it's like, or 3rd, right? So that was always crazy. So, all right, I like that one. Better game, Advanced Warfare or BO4?
That's actually quite tough. I think Advanced Warfare.
Okay, all right.
For me, Black Ops 4 was actually probably my least favorite Trek game ever.
Oh,
even though I did like it, but I love all the other Trek games. Black Ops 4
really? Wait, BO4 lower than Cold War?
I actually like Cold War. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fair play. Baby, like get out of it.
That's kind of that's a hot take. Honestly, I feel like the community loves BO4. But I would go BO4.
I like it, but like you know, it's just I'm a Trek fanboy. So
that's fair. That's fair. I love it. All right. Who's Standy or Insight Rookie of the Year?
Insight for sure. That's
who's
a
the better player
to me.
There we go. There we go.
That is a good question. I think I have to give it to Insight personally.
Yeah,
like,
I would too.
In terms of top list, like in terms of better player as well. Like what Insight does for that team is incredible. There's not many Rs that are
He's
as consistent.
He's the cornerstone. I mean, that's definition of cornerstone.
Yeah, agreed. Like Standy is phenomenal in what he does, and he's incredibly valuable to that team and to any team. But Insight, like, you can't underrate
my thing is like you replaced a solid player in methods with Insight, and they went from like a middle table to like a top 2 team.
Just so rare to do for an AR. Like, it's so rare.
And it's an AR.
An AR to make that move.
Exactly.
And it makes you so much better. That's like what just shows that he doesn't make any mistakes. He is incredible at search and destroy. His communication seems to be fantastic.
And not to mention his X factor with random positions that he's found, like to help Toronto use those positions. Like he was the first player to do the tree spot on raid, and like all these random things that Insight's found over the years, just like really valuable. And again, I feel like if you argue that he's not the Rookie of the Year, that means you just think Methods is a just trash player, because I feel like there's just like it's the best argument for Insight Rookie of the Year.
Also, like he played like pretty much the entire season apart from stage 1, whereas Standy came in a bit later, and so
I agree. All right, better gun, Krig or ICR?
Ooh, damn. I guess ICR Black Ops 4, right? We're talking.
Yep.
I think I'd give it to the. Oh, that's actually tough. I think I'd give it to the ICR. He was just so sexy with the double grip. Like, you know, just absolute laser beams.
The literal laser. Yeah, exactly. I love it. All right, better map then, Gunrunner or Garrison?
Oh, I think Gunrunner. Okay. Because I don't think Garrison really makes much sense. Like it
from
kind
like
of only has 2 lanes.
From like a normal CoD perspective, right?
Yeah, I think like Gunrunner, to be fair, was the best map in that game.
Yep.
So I think I've got to give Modern Warfare a tinsy bit of credit and say that Gunrunner was actually quite good.
Fair play. All right, Simp or AbeZy? Better player?
I think Simp, personally.
Okay.
This is my take.
Agree.
A lot of people disagree, but I think what he brings to the team in terms of consistency and slaying and also kills per 10 minutes. Like, it's not like he has particularly many less engagements than AbeZy.
No.
In terms of the way he plays the game, like how smart he is, his communication, everything, he just seems to be the perfect player. AbeZy plays a very difficult role and is the best at playing that role, no doubt, but makes more mistakes than Simp as a result. So I think if there's someone you build around, like, you wipe the slate clean, you have to pick a player to build around, you choose Simp first.
I agree. And not to mention sniping is an X factor in games with snipers.
That's also true.
So the other thing is, what wins championships, Hardpoint or S&D?
It's a good one. I would have said Hardpoint probably a year ago, but...
Really? Oh, you've switched.
I think yeah, based on what I've seen this season, I think I would say Surge, just because Hardpoint is obviously important. If you win all your Hardpoints, you're going to win more series 3-1 than you will winning 3-2s. So technically, Hardpoint should be more important. Math says Hardpoint, I agree. But in terms of like the way it actually feels and the way things work out at these tournaments,
this is actually an interesting debate. Can I interrupt you here?
Please
because it is kind of like because it's hard to be statistically so much better than everybody else in Hardpoint. Like, there's a way closer gap, but you can be statistically way better at S&D if you're really, really good, because there's more variance there. So like, if you're really good in S&D, you can actually like give yourself a better advantage than Hardpoint. But the consistency in Hardpoint is so key to being a good 100%. Team. So there is that debate there, which is kind of where
I agree. It's a good debate. I think I'd just say Search, because like, if you can be incredibly good at Search in terms of your preparation and your strats and your clutch factor, and because nowadays the teams are so competitive, there's going to be game 5s no matter what. So yeah, that's why Search and Destroy is so key, I think, because the thing is with OpTic this year, their Search and Destroy was lacking and they lost an awful lot of game 5s. And coaches, that's why I say what
analysts.
I say. But it can be argued either way.
I would lean still Hardpoint. Would be more crucial to a championship. I mean, look at FaZe, man. That was baby. But again, they're like an outlier where they're so much better at Hardpoint than most teams on the season. Like, that's rare for most seasons in COD. Like, so there is a debate there too. All right, more dominant, eUnited BO4 or FaZe Cold War? At the end, United BO4 champs. Who's a better team? United BO4 champs or United or FaZe Cold War champs?
I think you got to say FaZe Cold War, just because. Okay. eUnited almost lost that tournament. Like, they were on the verge on that Arsenal
multiple times
hardpoint of going down to EG there. So I think that FaZe looked almost pretty much unbeatable this weekend. Obviously, they played only three series, so there's always a caveat there.
There is always that. Yeah, exactly. For sure. And then the boldest of predictions, Rookie of the Year next year.
Oh, wow. Now we're talking.
Way too early rookie predictions.
Rookie of the Year next year. Okay, who's actually going to come in as the rookie?
Exactly. There's a lot of factors here.
Because I don't know 100% who's coming in, but I think it's very likely that Pred from Australia gets a spot. So I'm going to say him. Because Hydra could have had it this year if he was on a team that had more results. And people are saying similar things about Pred. So I've got faith he's going to be discussing as well.
The other ones that come to mind would be like Nasty, Mohawk, maybe if Mohawk gets a spot. Some of the other AM guys, I mean, like, you know, you could see Sib or you could see like Yeez, who all look likely to get spots, at least have high chances. Nasty's an interesting one. I mean, that with pairing him with Afro and seeing how that team plays out with London,
I'm really looking forward to.
I'm really hoping that ends up happening. So
if it's Nasty, Afro, Zero, and like I don't know, someone else from the UK, like a Gizmo or a Harry or something,
or Harry,
like genuinely. That could be a disgusting team.
I agree.
Looking forward to it.
I agree. Well, there it is, man. I'm rolling out the red carpet for you now. Plug whatever you got going on in life. I mean, I know you got your podcast, of course, with Breaking Point and, you know, everyone there. I mean, that's a great one. So what do you got going on in your life?
Appreciate it, man. This is a great time. So, I mean, yeah, obviously we've got the main channel going on. I've started up another channel called TacticalRab Gaming a few months ago.
Shout out, bro. The beams Tuesday, over there.
I'll chuck on a gameplay of some sort or another. And got a new PC sorted out and built not too long ago. So probably I'm going away for a couple of weeks at the start of September. Okay. But by end of September, I should probably start streaming a bit. Twitch or TV.
So, it's happening. We're going to have to get some games in.
It might be happening. We might have to get some games in.
Some high ping games in.
Some hyping games in. But that's how it's going.
For sure. I love it. All right, man. This has been a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, if you guys did, drop that comment down below. What are your hot takes? Give us your rapid fire answers as well down below. And of course, you know, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. We always appreciate that around here. And of course, I know you guys are already watching Rab and those videos, but go check them out if you haven't already. And we appreciate that. So again, like, comment, subscribe, share if you guys really enjoyed it. But as always, guys, I'm SalvationsElite, and we will see you next time. We out.